Ron MacLean with us right now. Hey, renewed for a fourth season. Congratulations.
Yes, it's a nice, Greg and Elliot, it's an expensive show to do, so I think we all love the show, but I always have in my back of my mind, how can we keep traveling this circus across the country? But luckily it's got momentum, and we do enjoy doing it.
Haven't run out of towns yet either, and there must be. We were in Hamilton last year. I went to one of the ones in London. I think you guys had a really early season run in London, maybe even the first year you did it.
First show ever.
Yeah, on the Sunday, that's right, with Kadri's hometown. And there must still be those small communities that are, they kind of cross their fingers and hope they're on the list in a given year, don't they?
And, I think the first year we may have hit smaller communities more often. I think as it turned out, we realized we had to bring the festival to some of the major markets, if for no other reason than to sell wireless. But it's always best, and most magical when you hit a smaller center. There's no question about that. This year we've got Cowichan on Vancouver Island. It'll be a very special stop. We're going to Williams Lake in British Columbia, where they had the fires all summer long and were devastated. So those are the ones I recall through the years. Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. Last year we were there, and they ended up winning the Allen Cup. But, you had to fly Toronto to Halifax, Halifax to St. John's, St. John's to Gander, and then drive for 90 minutes to get to the place. And you just realized that you might as well have gone from Oakville to Milton, because the folks are all the same. We're hockey hearts.
Starting off at Niagara Falls, so interesting is that we took the kids there for the first time this summer. It's amazing how many people congregate in Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Well, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the first time I saw the falls, I didn't think it could live up to the hype, and I was completely blown away. There's only, in my life, I've got two spots that I say shook me to the core. One was the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, just to stand, because I was there, I was a kid when they landed on the moon, so it was a big deal in my life. And the other was Luzhniki Ice Palace in Moscow, which was a big deal, again, in my childhood. But the falls, it is absolutely overpowering. There's just something about it. It's as majestic as the Rocky Mountains, so it's a great stage. Visually, it'll be a great stage for us. You'll have lots of folks, obviously, by default, on hand for the show. And we've got Tim Hicks, the country star, playing music for us, so that'll give us a nice vibe. And Derek Sanderson's coming home, and Steve Ludzik will be around. Ryan O'Reilly, the Sabres, is going to pop over. So there'll be a real party going on.
You mentioned Season 4, and the premiere will include Derek Sanderson going home to Niagara Falls. For someone of my age, he resonates. Derek Sanderson, from a guy who won Rookie of the Year, he beat out Jacques Lemaire to win Rookie of the Year, to what he went through with pills and drugs and the physical problems that he has. He's 71 years old, and he's probably as good as he ever was. How do you resonate this for kids today? Tell them about Derek Sanderson.
Well, that the challenge is there's nobody like him in today's sport world. He was a playboy, so that's gone the way of the, it's just, he was such he had charisma and he had talent, so I would liken him to PK Subban. But, Derek used to say, my pregame meal is a steak and a blonde. Can you imagine in 2017? So there's nothing even to compare with where he went. And he became a legend for not the one he had in mind, but he certainly became a legend for conquering fear. And that's the story that we will try to convey. When he was a young guy in Niagara Falls, there was a girl that he really liked. It took him 7 weeks to get the nerve to ask her out. He finally did, ask her to a YMCA dance, and about 10 seconds into the song, she started laughing, and she said, "That's the way you dance?" And he said, "I have not danced since that moment." And he said, public humiliation or feeling embarrassed or fear ruled my world. So obviously he hid behind alcohol and drugs to an extent, but he overcame it. He found the courage to fight off his fears, and it's a really great lesson. He's an incredibly inspiring human being, and he didn't lose his quips, his wits. He's got the great sense of humor. He still has an edge to him, but boy, did he do a good job of coming out of the depths of really going downhill.
It makes me think of that. Players now, do you think they simply, how would I put it, party less, or are they just told you better hide it because we don't want the perception?
There's an element of hiding it because of social media.
Yeah,
I think there's an element of hiding it because of the need to just keep your body in condition to handle the pace of the speed of the games. But yeah, it was a different era. Just that was the 70s. We had just come through the hippie movement, and now love was in the air, and It was a very sexist time. There was, all kinds of problems with our ethics, but and he just got swept up in that. He really did. But he played well for the most part. He just looked so. It was so awful to see him look so haggard, so fast. By 74, 75, it was really starting to take a toll. I often wonder, he left the Bruins for the second time. First he signed with the Philadelphia Blazers of the WHA, and then he came back to the Bruins and he left again because he couldn't get along with Bep Quidlin, the coach. If he had just hung on for about another few months, Don Cherry would have been his coach. And Don did not care for what he would call fall-down drunkenness, and especially drinking the night before a game. He had some really hard and fast rules, but I also know Don was incredibly good with, there was a guy, Bill Sweeney, was the greatest player in the American Hockey League, who struggled a bit with his alcohol situation. Don was gold with those folks, and I would have loved to have had Derek had a chance to play for Don, and that might have kept him a Bruin for a few years more. But, yeah, he's just a great story. So, he's coming back. He had colitis. Stevie Ludzik, who will be around, I hope, on Sunday, he used to listen to the radio, the Niagara Falls Flyers broadcasts, and he said Tommy Garriock, the broadcaster there, would take him on a magic carpet ride around the OHL. And I always thought, what a great metaphor for what we try to do with Rogers Hometown Hockey. But he had colitis. So these guys, both, and now Parkinson's. So they're two of my heroes, Steve Ludzik and Derek Sanderson.